What's going on, my land ones? It's your boy MoashDMC back again, and today I got a special video, a requested video actually. Guys, if you didn't know, we just hit 2K on a video for the first time ever. Obviously, we're new to the YouTube game, so that was quite the momentous occasion. But without further ado, I wanted to talk about Koby and Boa. I know it's a hot topic right now with everything going on in the One Piece world. A lot of questions are being asked, and everyone wants to know what happened with these two. Did Koby win? Did Boa win? So let's get right into it, get right into the nitty gritty, and figure out what the deal is. You already know the vibe. We started off hot. Gotta set the mood, people. You get it? Y'all didn't know. While everyone was in Wano, fighting to take down two Yonko, this one man, Koby, set sail to go and face the Empress. The strongest woman in the One Piece verse. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I said it. Lock it in. Conqueror's Hockey confirmed, observation confirmed, armament confirmed. You mean to tell me we're getting all these powerhouses now talking about conquerors rule the world? A woman who ruled the island of all women. New advanced armament already. Friends with Rayleigh, the same man who told Luffy, you're trying to tell me that Boa does not like that? Get out of here, man. Can't convince me. And now we have Koby, the man trained by the right-hand man of Sengoku. The hero of the Marines, the Fist, godfather to one Luffy, father to one dragon. The man whose very fist clashed with the Pirate King himself, Goldie Roger. When we want to talk about growth, Koby has had the biggest jump I've ever seen of any side character who barely gets screen time, ever. Rokushiki techniques, takes years to learn. Koby did it in under a year. Escorting high-class individuals. When I look at him, he's like doing blue walk to catch a torpedo. Next thing I know, he has the greatest globe I've ever seen. The pink-haired wonder. The next fist. Koby. So now when these two people who have one thing in common, that is Luffy, collide, a lot of questions are asked. What's going to happen? Who does the author want to put ahead? Boa, the damsel in distress? Or Koby, the new hero? These are questions that we all want to know the answer to. Oh, this is the final saga of One Piece, so everyone's anticipating. We know what happened to Mihawk, Cross-Guild. Weevil? Question mark. Buggy's a Yonko. Crocodile, where did you come from? And with all the warlords making move, it just makes sense that the strongest out of all of them, the Empress herself, the one with the Conqueror's Hockey, the one who can conquer all. Leader of women, destroyer of men. Boa, the Empress. What has happened? So now, let's get into the video and talk a little about it. All right, I'm not gonna lie. That was a good way to bring us into the topic at hand. Why is my screen going down? Bring it back up. Thank you. So, the question is, what happened with Koby going to capture Boa Hancock? The interesting thing was actually happening when he was on his way. He revealed this faction called Sword. I'm not going to lie, it sort of spun the whole community in one way because now we're thinking, okay, we always had this idea that there were Marines that really weren't aligned with the other Marines. And now we have it. Factual. It's in the story now. Sword is announced. Ex-pirates becoming Sword. Ex-pirates now on the move. AKA Aokiji. But I want to talk a little bit on Boa Hancock. Honestly speaking, I feel as though the community really overlooks how strong she really is. I mean, the most we really got was her exerting her force on Bullet, and that's a non-canon movie. It depends on how you want to take it. But I find it really hard for me to believe that the very island that Luffy went to get trained at, and now we see what Luffy actually is when he's really stressed in battles, Hockey blooms. So now imagine a person who's been fighting for her entire life just to protect every single person that she's in contact with. Every single woman, the Kuja pirates. Luffy wanted to get stronger in order to protect his crew. And at the same time, we met Boa, a female who puts on this charade of an act in order to never seem weak again after her past was unfolded upon her. With sister she loves very dearly. Another empress in the making that's helping her grow, and then she meets the man she loves, and that is Luffy. The one chink in her armor became a man, but can also be the one thing that gets her forward or gets her through. It's interesting that Oda really paired these two with Boa and Koby because now things can go either way, you know? It's very interesting. But more about Boa. Luffy went there to go train, learn advanced hakis, is now known as one of the top in the verse. Now we have Boa, the empress to all these women, where Luffy went to learn haki, having all three forms of haki, and I'm sitting here thinking, if Big Mom's emotions are basically what became her downfall, what about a merciless woman who has all the same capabilities and a little bit more to protect, and is a little bit more witting, a little more cunning, and a little bit stronger? Yes, a little bit more witting, a little bit more cunning, and just a bit stronger. I do have Boa as stronger than Big Mom. I know a lot of you guys are like, hear me out, people. Big Mom was a mess waiting to happen. Boa don't play that. The boa constrictor is going to suck the life right out of you, literally and figuratively. All right? And I think as we see the story progress, we're going to see why Boa actually said that statement right before we cut away for the break. Looks like we have to remind him that we are strong. I know some of you guys can say that where the sisters ranked in strength, Luffy was already taking care of them before the times come. I get it. I understand. There are scaling issues. But that doesn't have to do with the whole faction. Maybe the leaders are stronger than everyone else. And besides that, now they had that chink in the armor. Now they know they're out there. Now they know they're after them. So you mean to tell me they're going to remain weak? I don't think so. People tend to have this idea that only the Straw Hats get stronger and no one else. And Oda's showed you perfectly with the matchup between Boa that it's not just Luffy getting stronger, it's everyone else around him. As we see one Koby grow up from what he was to what he is now. I feel like that's a good segue to talk about Koby. You see, a lot of people have this idea that Koby is going to somehow become this new figure, this new Garp for the Marines. And you can say that he may have his haki blooms throughout. He may continue to get stronger by being trained by Garp, but honestly he can go just so far with someone with the growth rate of Luffy. So say Koby does become Admiral. Where do you put him strength-wise? Is it a rare Admiral? I think he actually is a rare Admiral already. Is he Admiral level like Aokiji, Fujitora, Green Bull, Akainu, Aokiji? Or are we talking Fleet Admiral? Because honestly speaking, if Koby's supposed to be this new, Garp, then wouldn't it make sense that he's going to do something that Garp didn't do? Garp is trying to reshape the Marines possibly from the inside out, but Koby wants to take it head on. I mean, he's already part of Sword, so he's already in that faction that's like underneath. So wouldn't it make more sense that he finally tries to like go after like top dog? If he's trying to match Luffy throughout his growth rate, Luffy's going to become the king of the pirates, becoming a fleet admiral, the very new faction that sort of shifts the way the world was before. It will make sense that something's going to happen to Koby. And I do believe that Koby either gets a devil fruit or has Conqueror's haki. And the interesting thing is that the first introduction to Koby, or true introduction to Koby's character, was at Marineford, but now he took the spotlight. Now people had their eyes on him, right? When he jumped in front of Akainu and told him to stop, and with this one word, he casted out the word stop, and literally the entire Marineford came to a halt. Shout out my boy Parvish. He says that in that instance, there was a whoosh that silenced the crowd, and everyone paid attention to this one young man who's challenging the pinnacle of power, the admirals. A man who wants to challenge and become an admiral himself stood up to someone that no one else would. Sengoku knew the repercussions if he let Garp go, but he didn't let Garp go. Koby in that situation, if he was strong enough, he would have punched Akainu in the face, but he wasn't. So he stood there and cried. Heard the dying screams, the fading away screams of everyone in Marineford. Literally had a meltdown. Woke back up in a tizzy, covering his ears. I could hear the voices. Shout out Randy Orton. I could hear the voices in my head. They talk to me. But now we have this idea that not only does Koby have this insane growth rate, not only did he have a moment that you can align with some of the great moments in One Piece, not only is his overall ambition to become an admiral after being talked to by Luffy gives me the idea that Koby will eventually equal Luffy before the end of the series. And it may be crazy, but it may not be by himself. Maybe it is alongside Helmeppo. But something's going to happen that Koby actually closes the gap to Luffy. And strictly because of that is what helps Luffy later on become who he is. And by that I mean Koby becomes a power not only to go against Luffy, but also to aid Luffy. Because I really do believe that towards the end of One Piece, even those factions within like the major factions, so like even Sword, are going to split off and go about their own agendas. Maybe Aokiji, maybe Guard, maybe Koby, etc., etc. So now I've talked about Boa being the pinnacle of women, Koby reaching the pinnacle of men. So now when these two forces collide before they've actually bloomed to that essence of a character, who comes out on top? And I actually want to segue that and get into forces. I was looking over to see if I had my water bottle again. Guys, I left it again. Anyway, so is Koby also going by himself is the big question. And with that, we cue the music. Sorry guys, I've been talking all day. Forgot my water bottle before I made this video, so words may get jumbled, but I'll try to be clear. I've now mentioned Boa being amongst the ranks of the top tiers in the whole verse. The strongest women character, possibly going to be one of the top 10 characters, maybe not if top 5 by the end of the series. Talked about a man whose growth rate surpasses that of the very MC himself, and one Luffy. With continuous training from Garp and his right-hand man, unlike Luffy, he only got a year and 6 months. They got 2 years plus. He has a little bit more under his belt, and he's going fast. Now, with one thing in common, that is their admiration for Luffy, these two forces clash. One looking to make a name for himself in the Marines and become said admiral that he's been vying for so long. One not vowing never to be seen at or looked at as weak ever again to the forces that rule the world, the Celestial Dragons. Brandished on her back, she stands tall and looks down on all men, the very beings who castrized her and made her who she is today. Iron sharpens iron, steel sharpens steel, but nothing messes with the will of a woman when she has her mind set on something. And with that being said, I do believe one Koby did go out to Boa, but by himself, I think not. Wouldn't make much sense. Sengoku was wary. He knew of the power that Boa possessed. Sending the Marines there in an open field doesn't seem that very smart. Doesn't seem too very smart. So I think people went with Koby. I think he was aided. A land like Amazon Lily isn't just one adventure. It's a tall task. Sea kings roam the seas out in front and protect that very island. If you're not careful, you won't even make it ashore. And during one flashback, we got one man talking. One man who'd be almost a complete counter to that of one Boa. And that is Fujitora. In the same panel we see Fuji talk, we see Sea Kings. Fuji bandaged up from his fight with Sabo and the Revolutionaries. He's an admiral. To beat the best, you gotta send the best. I think one Fuji's actually on his way there as well. Koby and Fujitora goes after Boa and Amazon Lily. So what is the result? Let's talk about it. All right. The results of all of that happening still all ties down to one person, that is Luffy. With all the factions now aligning in different areas, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Boa ends up with possibly some of the Grand Fleet, or the Grand Fleet are just in the area. I mean, it's really interesting to me that maybe no one knows about the alliance or the interaction between Boa and the Straw Hats, or maybe mainly Luffy, but some people do. And I wouldn't be surprised if Koby and Fuji went after Amazon Lily, but they not only ran into Boa, but also that of one Rayleigh. Because it seems to me that Rayleigh is playing his part in this whole story, even though he wants to take the sideline. He already trained Luffy, and he was constantly around Amazon Lily. With the Marines actually declaring war against the pirates and sending the Marines to Amazon Lily to capture one Boa Hancock, it wouldn't make sense that Rayleigh would stand still. I understand that he knows it's a new era, but at the same time, he wouldn't leave a place that he's grown an attachment to. And that's why I believe one Rayleigh did show up and mitigated the damage that was going to be done. Not stop it completely. Because the Marines did get some things that they wanted and failed at others. I do believe it's most likely that part of the Kuja pirates were captured. Not all. And that some of the Marines got away scot-free or let others get away scot-free. And by that I mean Koby interacting with Boa and Rayleigh and having his moment where he realizes this is the gap between the top tiers and me. Same as how Luffy interacted with Kaido and realized this is not where I am right now, but this is where I need to get to get to the next level. I think alongside Rayleigh, Boa drove off the Marines, but she did lose some of her family. And in that sense, it was a failure on the Marines, but also a success. And because of that, that's what draws the Amazon pirates, or the Kuja pirates, out from Amazon Lily. And that's what makes them go on the move as well. Because I don't believe all the factions are going to be dwindling on an island with so many pieces moving. I feel as though they're going to get a lot of interactions in a lot of areas that we didn't see yet. So I think Rayleigh and Boa Hancock are probably together. I think Koby did part of his job. He wasn't able to get Boa Hancock herself, but mainly some of the pirates. Some of the Kuja pirates. And as well as, I do believe the interaction between Koby and Boa did have something to do with Luffy. And because of that, it may have spiraled in one way or another. And if Koby's almost playing that Garp role, it wouldn't make sense that him and Fuji actually end up letting them go, or in a sense just realize like there's no use to keep going in this moment. But it would be interesting if Fuji actually destroys Amazon Lily, because it may be a case that they get some of the Kuja pirates and not get Boa, but also Fujitora destroys all of Amazon Lily. In a sense, Fuji is an admiral. He still has to get his job done, and I don't think Koby's going to Boa Hancock's island by himself. So essentially, I believe what happens is we do get a situation where Koby and Boa do interact. They do fight. I do believe Koby realizes the difference between the two. I do believe Rayleigh's also going to help the Kuja pirates. I do believe Koby was also followed by Fujitora. It just makes the most sense that Koby went with an admiral. I get it. Koby's trying to get his merits under his belt, but at the same time, I do believe there's a huge jump to him not only face Boa, but also beat Boa, because that would drop Boa's stock basically to the bottom. I don't think Oda's going to do that with Boa like he just did with Big Mom. But it makes sense that the two top tier women in the series are both defeated within the same arc, essentially. So not happening. So I do believe Koby actually sees the difference between probably him, Rayleigh, and him and Boa, and he realizes I still need to do more than what I'm doing currently. He possibly goes to talk to Garp to learn a little bit more, but who knows? But I like where I stand on that. Koby was aided by Fuji. I do believe they succeeded partially, not fully. They probably got some of the Kuja pirates, not all of them. Maybe the sisters. I like the idea that the sisters got captured and Boa wasn't there to actually protect them. I like that idea. And that interaction between Boa, Rayleigh, and Koby actually did involve Luffy in some way, shape, or form. And with that, they departed because they realized there's not much left that they can possibly do currently. Maybe Fuji does destroy Amazon Lily, but that's neither here nor there. I do have some more ideas about what happened, but I don't want to put that in this video because I have a bigger video when it involves all of the ex-warlords and what they actually did to get to the moment they're at currently. That means Mihawk, that means Crocodile, that means Boa, possibly Weevil, and Boa. Marshall D. Teach as well, because he was an ex-warlord as well. Where Law's off to, am I forgetting one? What Mortar's up to, and what happens with Doflamingo. So essentially we're going to have a lot on our plate, but I think it all ties together. So I'll save that for another video. But like I said, at the end of every single video, leave a like, hit the subscribe button and the bell button to come back next time. Remain enlightened, y'all. And until next time, peace.